Our destination?
Supporting our mom friends.
Let's go for a ride.
Welcome to Girls Trip and day 2 of our Mother's Day celebration. Today we wanted to talk about the best ways that we can support our friends as they undergo probably the most insane life transition ever. I feel like we have had a lot of women in our like immediate circles sort of getting into that phase of life recently. So it's like fresh in our minds, I think, of how we've been trying to show up for them and, you know, support them. But I wanted to have this conversation because I think that maybe there are some things that maybe go unsaid. Yeah. And I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to clue us in on things that maybe we're missing of how like better ways that people need to be supported. Or if there are things that we are doing that maybe are really appreciated, but, you know, we're not sure if they're hitting the mark. I was having this conversation with my mom and I thought that it was interesting, and I hadn't thought about this prior to sending out the survey, but my mom was like, I don't know that this was really a thing when I was having kids.
Interesting.
Of like, I don't know that we were like intentionally like, how do I support
like supporting each other,
my friends? That it was, and I think for her, you know, it could differ, I think, depending on your circle. I think nowadays there's maybe more staggering between people having kids.
I was going to say, do you think that's because everyone was just in it at the same time?
Yeah, I think that was a big part. She was like, we were all having kids at the same exact time. So
No one could help.
No one could help.
Everyone like, we're surviving.
Yeah, we were just doing it. And sometimes we would do it together, but it was very much just like every man for himself, like survive.
Interesting.
And, you know, she brought up a good point that I do think that our perspective on this whole idea could be a little bit skewed because we are very active in like our church community. And whether it's a church or another type of community, I think that could make a big difference. If you're not really plugged into a tight-knit community, I don't know that you're getting people showing up with meal trains, you know, postpartum or, you know, checking in on you in that kind of way. So that was also kind of eye-opening. I think I've just been in our community for so long, and this is how we do it, and this is how we show up for people.
It's not the norm. It's not.
Yeah, but
if
I think
you don't have
might
a
not
family,
be.
like a core family, to really be that support system, I don't think this is the norm. So this is a really great. As I'm glancing through these, I'm like, wow, this is really great and really helpful, I think, for people.
So I wanted to kind of hear, we kept it anonymous. That way people felt like they could be honest and, you know, say whatever they wanted. And it definitely helped me think differently about how can I support my friends? Because I know for me, when I was going through those stages, like, if someone just said to me, like, let me know if you need anything, or if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I was never going to ask you for anything. That's just not who I am. Like, so for me to receive that help, like, it would have had to be really specific. Okay. And I remember seeing someone post about something on, I think on Instagram or a podcast or something, where they would be like, you know, I say to my friend, like, you know, okay, once you confirm a time, like, I'm coming over on Thursday from 1 to 3. Pick one of these 3 things for me to do. Like, I can come over and do your laundry. I can, you know, you can send me a list and I can bring your groceries and I can put them away, or I can, you know, whatever the third thing is, and being like really intentional and specific with those things. And that, I think, might have worked for me if someone was like, I am coming and I am going to do, you know, one of these things, versus like leaving it very open-ended. Yeah. Because I think when it's super open-ended, you're like, I'm not going to impose on anybody.
So that was Lauren's answer.
Yeah, that was my answer. That was my answer. So anyway, let's get to you guys and see what you have to say. Joy, kick us off.
Okay. This is a good chunk. Good answer. Oh, so many things. Well, just to reiterate the question, what is something that would be helpful or supportive to you in the in
yes,
the early
these are
stages.
mostly from maybe women who have become moms in the last maybe 5 or so years. I think those are primarily people who answered. And what did you find most supportive, or was there something that an area you could have used support in that was maybe overlooked?
Oh, so many things. Understanding I may take a long time to answer your text back and not letting it affect the friendship, not leaving the new moms off the text chain. We may not be able to do everything the same way, but the early motherhood journey can feel really lonely. Offering to come hold your new baby so you can shower and lay down. Being flexible, the friendship might not be phone calls and drives home from work, only the time the toddlers are not screaming in the background. Offering babysitting swaps. When you become a mom, everything becomes more important than you. I think we just talked about that yesterday. Yeah. So celebrating your mom friend celebrating your mom friend for the big milestones and the little wins. Yeah, very, 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 very good. I think the core here was that I fall into this too. It's easy to say they're so busy. Like, let's not overwhelm them with like more information about things that are happening, or let's just like let them do them right now. But can you attest to that it can feel lonely and that you'd rather know what's going on, even if you can't make the event, or even if you can't be a part of like all the social things, like you still don't want to feel isolated and left alone.
Yeah. And I think maybe that I think on what she's saying here, like there should be grace, like have grace for your friends and don't put expectation. But I think that something new moms don't do is speak up and like tell your friends how you feel, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
Some people might be like, I do not want you blowing up my phone about things that I can't even think about. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to say no to the 50th thing. So like, I'll let you know when I'm ready to come back on. Whereas I thrived off of being social and going to things like that. But I think that some of my friends felt like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, like, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to come, like, you don't have to do any of that. And so they felt bad. And I should have maybe been more vocal to say like, no, I love it. Like, this is giving me energy in life right now when I feel like I'm barely going to make it another hour. So yeah, maybe it's just about being like upfront and straightforward and honest about what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And as the friend on the receiving end of that, whatever it is, just not being judgmental about it and having grace there, and just being like, yep, whatever
you can do,
you
can do.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah.
The grace was the good word there.
Yeah,
was
for sure.
the key. The key there. All right, Rebecca.
Here we go. During the truly exhausting and hormonal months after having a baby, meals were great, but also quick grab and go things that were made for me were super helpful, like muffins, cut up fruits and veggies, chicken and tuna salad, especially when nursing, because you're just hungry all the time. Okay, yep. Also, when having multiples and they were all little at the same time, someone offering to take the older ones out for the day, and even a few hours was amazing. And arriving with a pack of diapers was always welcome. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think about that too. When, you have multiple kids and then all of a sudden like there's a newborn and now there's screaming children.
Yeah.
You don't think, maybe you want to bring them a meal, but maybe actually making it less chaotic.
Yeah.
It's like, here, let me help.
Yeah.
Take
I like
your
the
children.
grab and go tip too.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's not like the casseroles are great, right? Or like whatever. But even if you don't have to heat something up, you literally could take a fork and just like get that tuna salad and be good. Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah. I mean, I was super grateful for my parents during that time being able to take Avery when Grayson came home. That was a huge help. Because if you do have toddlers or something, they have so much energy. And you don't. So having someone to take that is awesome. Okay. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
This is
Words
a
of wisdom.
chunk, which I love. Thank you for whoever submitted this. Okay. After both my miscarriage and the birth of my first child, my best friend and a few other ladies gifted different kinds of care packages, all geared towards me. My favorite snacks, self-care products, shower steamers, massage gift cards, etc. There are so many things that we receive for the baby or for the postpartum recovery process, but sometimes receiving things that are just for you really help make you feel like you're still human and exist outside of this new, wonderful but insanely challenging role that's taking over your life. Also, the day we came home from the hospital, my mom took all of our laundry and any baby clothes that hadn't been washed yet and everything from our 4-day stay in the hospital and took it to a local laundromat where she washed and folded and then put away every single item so I didn't have to think about it. She could have done it in our house, but taking it out meant that she wouldn't disturb us while we were resting, and I never had to worry about being a hostess. That's an insane mental load to take on when you're in desperate survival mode. I have kind of heard that from a couple people recently of like how just like extra special and thoughtful it is to get a gift for you when you're getting so many baby things. And it might not be something that you can even really use at that time. Like I was not going to be using a shower steamer in those first couple of showers, you know, but I think it's still just the like the glimmer in the day of like, ooh,
one day I will use this.
I will get to this, and just this is so fun and thoughtful to open, and just gives you something to look forward to. I think that can really like lift your spirits and make a difference. And I mean, that sounds great. Having your laundry done and folded and put away.
So like purposeful. And that like, the point is to rest. So let's do this away and let them rest. It's so thoughtful. Okay. A friend, family member, or neighbor taking the baby for 15 minutes or so I could shower, unload groceries, or clean the house. This is super helpful for ages 0 to 3. Once the child is 4 years old, it's easier for mom to get stuff done with the babe around. So that makes sense, right? Yeah. Like, and I like how she said 0 to 3 because we're thinking like newborn, right? But really it gets more hectic the older they get. They're sleeping a little bit less. They're getting into things now, so it's more helpful to have more help in those times. 4 years old, it's easier to get to. Do you think that's...
I think that's true because they become more independent. It's like they can go to the bathroom on their own. They can get a snack on their own. They can entertain themselves. I definitely agree with those ages because that, like, I feel like the immediate postpartum to like maybe 5-6 months, you're just getting through. You're like literally in survival mode. So that's when it's like really helpful. The meals, you're like trying to fit in a shower, you know, whatever. And then kind of the support not disappears from your closest people, but it's not, people are not thinking about it. After those first 2 weeks, it's like, boom, like you're back to real life. And now you have to do everything you were doing, but now have another human to keep alive. And then when they hit that 6-month mark, babies are like moving and so much more mobile, and they're not sleeping during the day as much. And they need so much more that then it gets even harder to get things done.
It's a different hard. Yeah. Every stage has its different hard.
So I feel like maybe in those first couple of weeks, you want people to come do things for you. But after those first couple of weeks, first couple of months, it would have been really helpful to have someone come and just entertain the baby while I cooked a meal or did laundry or something like that. So it shifts, but it's still really helpful to have the support.
That's good.
I would say an area that I could have used more support was for the emotional/hormonal changes that I wasn't prepared for would come as my body started to shift back after delivery. Not having support there or with my nursing journey made it really challenging to keep that up for as long as I would have liked. You think about a lot of external things or just tangible, like, I mean, do your laundry, but sometimes you want to just sit and like dump all of your thoughts out. Some people I know, like, you know, maybe feel bad, but sometimes like, let me just be a sounding board and just let it out. Or let me direct you towards someone who I know has been through the same thing if you want to talk, and giving resources there. So
I think about like the times that the three of us get to share now that your kids are older. We're not in that phase just yet. We get so much time to really just let it all there.
Let it all out.
Maybe too much. And to think about that just like suddenly stopping. Or that could be really hard for a lot of people who need that. So I need that. So that
outlet. I think the key that I try really hard to do is letting that new mom friend know that whatever spectrum of emotions they are feeling is okay.
Is okay, yeah.
Like this is a safe place.
Yep.
Because I definitely felt like so much kind of like guilt and shame over some things of like I can't give people my honest answer right now. And it was a lot. And so I try to be honest with my friends who are getting, not to like scare them or be like, this is going to be terrible, but just be like, I was someone who felt very much in control of my emotions and I was not prepared for the onslaught of hormones postpartum that there's nothing you can do. It's not like you can prepare better and not have to deal with it.
I'm going to try not to get angry right now.
Yeah, like I remember like 5 days postpartum, like trying to choke down a cheeseburger and I like started crying. I'm like, I think I could do 2 out of 3, but trying to do the breastfeeding and the sleep deprivation and the pain, I can't do all 3.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, I'm actively being like, what is wrong with you, Lauren? Get it together. But also like, you can't get it together.
You just said it is what it is.
So be prepared, like to just give yourself so much grace and you're not, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not going to be like that. But also like, I was all over the place. I was like, oh, this like breastfeeding journey is not this like beautiful bonding experience that other people may have had. And should I feel bad about that? Or like sometimes I want to just take this child and like, because I'm so tired and this is so frustrating and whatever it is, and it, even though your friend may genuinely want to know how you're doing, sometimes you have to be like, give me the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm here to take it all, and there's nothing you can say that's going to make me feel differently about you, and just sort of like putting that out there for them to be able to share that. I think 100%. Could be important. This is a one word: laundry.
Laundry.
One word.
Says it all.
Says it all. Which again, if someone, like I would never ask someone to do that. If they gave me an open-ended question, never. But I guess if someone came over, I was like, I am doing your laundry.
Came over with a basket. Yeah. It was like, I'm taking it, goodbye. And then came back with it.
Okay. And then you would be super grateful. So take the reins.
Another short one, stopping by, helping with small things with the baby or around the house. I mean, it's all the same thing. We're seeing a thread, people, like the acts of service.
Acts of service, for sure.
That a lot of people just need it.
Kind of going off of that, bringing dinners over during newborn time and then being invited to kid-friendly activities, dinners, get-togethers, or parks. So maybe when you're ready to step outdoors.
Yeah.
And it's like, help me do
brave
something.
the world.
Yeah. Go for a walk around the park. I did that with my good friend. And I was like, listen, do you want sunshine? Do you want an indoor place? Do you want to like lay in the grass? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't really know that you need that too until you're outside.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Those are all for a couple of years super helpful. One, sometimes it's really hard or really expensive or both to find a babysitter.
Yep.
So getting invited to do like an adults only thing, although sometimes welcome and fun, is really hard when all of a sudden you're like, this is going to double the cost of our night out and I don't have anybody available, to do that. So having the occasional invite, whether it's like, feel free to bring your kids with you, even if you don't have kids, like it's just like, you just bring them here. And some people might feel like this is an imposition, but especially during those early years, it was so much easier to have people come over my house where I had everything. I didn't have to like pack up a cargo van to be able to go somewhere. So, when my friends were like, I want to see you, I miss you, let's hang out, I'm going to come over and bring, a bagel or bring lunch or something. And we'll just hang.
Yeah.
That way, if the baby needs to take a nap, if the baby needs to cry, if we need to nurse, it's not going to matter. Is super, super helpful.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this kind of goes right along with what we were talking about. So this person says, I'm not a mom yet, but one of my best friends of nearly 30 years had a baby 2 years ago. Almost a year after her daughter was born, she confided in me that she had gone through an intense period of postpartum struggles during those first few months. Hearing that was a wake-up call. It reminded me how important it is to really check in on new moms beyond the usual compliments about how cute their baby is. So yeah, true. I think just maybe digging a little deeper and making sure that they know, like, you can say anything.
Yeah.
Here,
safe space.
Yeah.
Most helpful physically, when people offered to pick up groceries or drop off meals. Most helpful mentally, when friends who recently had kids answered questions I had about what I was feeling or experiencing or the baby. In parentheses, for example, did this happen to you? Was your baby's poop this color? Most exciting, when people brought desserts, candies, goodies to snack on. So, yeah.
That is so true. I don't know what it is about. I don't know if it's hormones. I don't know what it is, but there were some times where I was like, I'm so grateful for this meal because I cannot possibly think about cooking for my family, my husband or whatever, but like, I just want to eat that cookie right now. Like, I don't know if it's just comfort. Like you want
definitely
something.
an element of that for sure.
Sweet and delicious, but yes, those baked goods were amazing. They hit the spot.
Meals and groceries were so helpful with my first as I was adjusting to the new parent life. After I had my second, someone coming by to keep my daughter occupied while I fed and held the baby was extremely helpful. So yeah, taking that first kid and occupying them.
Get them out of here.
Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. Give them a activity.
Let's see. Okay. The support of friends and family during the early newborn, infant, and toddler stages have been so important in my life. Checking in via text or call is encouraging, and there were also times when friends and family would stop by to deliver meals for my family. This was so helpful because with so many young children to tend to, it is quick to focus on everything with the kids and the house and not myself. When I have friends and family who can do the not so pretty work like washing dishes and cleaning the stove, I'm able to have moments with the kids where I'm fully present and focused. My self-care is last on the list, so when my support system can pick up on the jobs that I catch myself busy with, then I have more time to spend with my babies. And I mean, if someone came over and just started doing my dishes, I would not have argued with them because that sink fills up quick. And I wasn't even using bottles. So for someone bottle feeding, holy cow, I can't imagine how quick that sink fills up.
It's acts of service.
Yep.
It's a thread.
Yeah.
Last one for me. Things that were helpful: texting with friends who lived through the same experiences so you didn't feel crazy or alone. Text check-ins and reminders that the hard parts are just temporary. Help with cleaning around the house. And exclamation points, meals.
And then one that my friend texted me an answer to that she just had a baby a couple months ago, which this is something that never would have occurred to me because it's not part of my daily life. But they are dog owners. So she was like, having someone offer to take the dog for a 15-minute walk because I wasn't able to do that.
That's
in those couple of weeks.
Point.
Especially if it's cold out, if you're in the winter, you maybe don't want to take your newborn out like in those early days or weeks. She's like, was so needed. And she's like, I will be so much more aware of that now for friends who have dogs to be the one to offer
it's so good.
that. And I thought that piece was really helpful, that it is easy to get consumed like with your own life. But if you can like take a minute to like mentally capture those things that were helpful and then be really proactive in like being reciprocal, even if it's not like one-to-one, like if it's like somebody else that, just needs the help, like remembering and being quick to make the offer to that person.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. So I think that was
like great answers.
Good answers.
So good. A lot of similar answers, but all with their own unique twist, which I think it makes sense because every mom has different experiences.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be, I think, the one that is, I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to know anything. The world could be imploding around my four walls. It's all good. Just I need to focus right here, right now. Yeah. And you like totally different.
And I think that like you're not really going to know 100%.
That's true too.
Until you're in it, right? Yeah. And it's going to depend on what your labor experience was. It's going to be dependent on a lot of circumstantial things, but I think that you know yourself and you know your personality and we talk about this analogy all the time, like what gives you coins, what takes coins. So those things are like pretty much going to be the same, maybe more extreme. So I think it also doesn't hurt to like have those conversations with whoever's your closest friends or your mom or your husband before
right?
the labor comes.
So important.
To be like, hey, when people ask how they
them
can
this
help,
response, yeah.
this is what I think I'm going to need the most.
And like your mom or your husband may get it a little bit, but to make sure, like have the conversation beforehand.
I would say do not assume,
do not assume.
especially for your husband, that they will know what you want
Just
most.
have the conversation beforehand.
But have the conversation beforehand to be with like your friends. Like, listen, like if you want to help me, I'm totally comfortable with you coming and doing my dishes.
Yeah.
I'm probably never gonna be like, here's my baby so I can go shower. Like that's just not who I am. Or like the social aspect really helped me. So if you do have a half hour to come have lunch or to just stop in and hang with me,
please
I
do it.
welcome that.
Yeah,
Please
that's
do.
great.
It helps my days.
Yeah,
or,
like that's
or whatever.
like all these questions are like, how can other people support you? Well, this is how you help yourself a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Joy might be like, please contact me 3 to 7 business days ahead of time if you would like to come over, and I will get back to you.
Be proactive. I think that's really good. It's giving tips to all the people who want to help, but like responsibility to the women
because
too.
I've also found with some friends who I know are different than me, that I'm like, I don't actually know what they would find supportive and helpful. So then you end up pulling back a little bit, but then you don't want to be absent. You don't want to be like making them feel like they're not being supportive. But I'm like, I don't want to stress them out by giving them the wrong kind of support.
Yeah.
But maybe asking them right now would also be stressful. And I'm like, I should have done this before they had,
like for moms
the
who are
baby.
really super routine, having someone just drop in out of nowhere.
Right,
Just
like
doing
totally
stuff.
that
That would probably be
terrible.
like, okay, that's
Yeah.
not. So it really is important to communicate what you need.
Yeah.
I think that's so good.
And then if you are that person who doesn't want the interruptions, but you do want to give them groceries or a meal or something, don't knock on the door and being like, hi, here's a meal. Because then you're going to feel obligated to be like,
Come
do you want
in.
to come in? Like if you know that that's that type of person, leave it at their door and shoot
Instacart
them a
it.
text from the car.
Instacart, DoorDash, right to the house.
Funny story about that. So my best friend had a baby, and I went to Trader Joe's. Just grab stuff. I grabbed frozen dinners, and threw it in there. Went to the door, rang the doorbell. Texted her, was like, "Hey, there's a little gift bag at the bottom." She texted me. She's like, "So we're currently in New York." I was like, you know what? It's cold outside. Everything will be just fine. Or whatever
That's
it was.
hilarious.
So love the surprises.
Make sure they're
Maybe
home.
check in with dad.
Maybe check in with one of
To
them.
be like, hey, is anyone going to be home today? And then
just
do
so
it that
doesn't
way.
know. But they were
cute.
fine.
Yeah. So if there's anything that you thought was super helpful in your journey or any areas that you thought were overlooked, please drop them below so we know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to enjoy the view wherever your ride takes you.